Nizar, I'm super excited to have this chat with you. And mashallah, you're on leading STC Bank, an entity that everyone is looking at with excitement. STC Pay, mashallah, changed how people transact on a national level. But before we delve into that, I wanted to maybe learn a little bit more about your own personal story and what got you excited to join STC Bank from the banking sector.
Great, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum jami'an. And yes, it is really exciting time to see the flurry of fintech activity in Saudi, especially here in Fintech 24. And it's exciting times. And I think my personal story is maybe I have a preference for pain. That's why I got into this field now and dealing with the trials and tribulations of setting up digital propositions in Saudi Arabia. My background is corporate banking, 20 plus years. And the last part of it was really focused on transactional banking, building in digital proposition in the previous bank I worked in. And who else other than STC Pay to be the catalyst for growth and opportunity in Saudi Arabia? So the story of transforming into a digital bank was very appealing to me. And backed by STC as a corporate and conglomerate, you would know that there's a good backing for such a proposition, which requires a lot of time and effort and investment.
MashaAllah. But still, the road is long. So, MashaAllah, STC changed how people transfer and do transactions. But the ambition is to turn into a bank.
Sure.
How do you see this transition going through?
Well, the story of being the initial wallet operator in Saudi Arabia and the ease of life it brought to everybody around, with the right preposition, the right timing, I think the market was really in need for such a disruptor. But now we're in a transition. The need for digital banking is a story that everybody comprehends and starts to think about. How do you differentiate between a digital bank and a bank that has digital services? And that's something we have been designing and planning on how to execute it when we start our commercial operations. And I think the market is so diverse. If you ask two people, what is your view of a bank is, you will get very varying degrees of what a bank is, to a up-and-coming 21-year-old to maybe a young elite who's in mid-management. That's something we're trying to design and cater to all of those needs. Banking at the end of the day is a financial service. Everything around it is regarding ecosystem and ease of life. And this is what we're trying to.
If maybe a lot of people in the room and others would be interested to know what are the main differences between being a wallet and banking as a service.
Sure. Wallet or EMI or a wallet is a very useful tool to facilitate ease of onboarding, ease of payments, and it really focuses on payments and add-on services. But banking, as you know, is a very complex sector. It's highly regulated. You are attaining and responsible for the client's deposits. And therefore, there's fiduciary responsibility on how you manage a digital bank from that matter. But at the end of the day, clients need ease of their livelihood at the end of the day. You receive a salary, you have obligations, and you have services that you want to acquire. That's the simple form of what we're trying to do. And I think there's a lot of need for innovation in everyday banking. Whatever segment you are, whatever age group you are, whatever life cycle you're in terms of maturity of your needs, it can be as simple as a requirement for a credit card to an offering of advanced investment opportunities as well for your wealth.
Nizar, you mentioned regulation and the fiduciary duty of banks. How are you managing this internally in terms of how does your team need to change in order to be able to execute on that?
Excellent question. I think the transformation from managing a wallet or a fintech into a full structured bank is quite a hefty task. What we've done over the last year and a half is we've focused on deploying the right people in the right places. Obviously, we'd need staunch bankers that really understand risk, compliance, credit, in terms of control. But at the same time, you need a balance. You need a very well diversified business and innovation team as well. That's where we're focusing on bringing different capacity, different backgrounds, because the banking of the future requires those expertise. And you also have to have a very strong strategy. Seeing 5-7 years down the road is very, very difficult when things are changing every other day. And you have to pivot when and as fast as you can. Otherwise, people will catch up very quickly to what you're up to.
MashaAllah. I had the privilege a year or so ago to walk through STC Pay, and I was sweetly surprised of the young team and passionate that you can feel through walking through the different halls. How do you see the progression of these young talent into the new realm that you guys are pursuing? And do you think you will have the same capabilities of people throughout this change into the new bank?
You know, the complexion of our team is maybe 60-70% below 30 years old. And that's something we're quite proud and passionate about, enabling this young team to take us further into where we're headed. We are keeping the startup and fintech mentality in STC Bank. That is essential to us as leadership of the organization. When we walk down the halls and we see people huddled on a working group talking about ideas, a lot of them are not even involved in business. They are contributors from IT, from control functions, who have a passion about new ideas or new ways of deploying service, and we hear all of them. So the way we structure product design, it's not just business. And a lot of people contribute to what makes a good squad that comes up with the idea and takes it through to execution. MashaAllah.
I fairly remember العيدية idea and how STC Pay came around Eid with it, and it went viral. I'm sure a very innovative team within STC Pay managed to turn that around.
They did. The initial idea was I believe, I wasn't there, but I heard stories that it was a week of development and launch right before the Eid. And we tried to catch up with that innovative style. The last version of idea was not idea at all. It was a full month of Ramadan Fawazir, which ironically, all of the neighborhoods got excited about it. Can you imagine going to prayer, al-Maghrib or al-Isha, and I have my neighbors asking me, what's the answer to the question? Help us get in, get out. So it was very inclusive, and we're happy to continue that.
Inshallah. So, Nizar, you mentioned focus on being customer-centric, especially, and maybe this is not the first thing a bank would adopt. What are you looking forward to in the next 18 months? What should we expect to see from STC Bank?
Well, we're in the final stages of transformation readiness for bank launch. Hopefully that will come soon. And that's only the beginning. The real work starts after we fully start operating. We have a 24-month plan of enhancements and developments as we go along. You can't do everything all at once. But our philosophy is basic banking is there, and it's been done for above 100 years. There's not a lot of innovation remaining in what a structure of a banking service is. But customer experience, how you go about it, how you understand customers' needs, how do you emulate what you perceive as a requirement for them. And at the end of the day, we just want to delight. If we can reach the level of the passion that is in the office today, to reach our customers that they are truly delighted by the little and big things that we do, I think we would consider ourselves very successful in that. You know, the motto inside STC Bank is we want to be a financial health partner. And not many organizations really think in that context. Everybody is working, they're busy, they're thinking about their expenses and how to pay debt. And we don't want to be a showstopper or roadblocker for that. We want to alleviate a little bit of that financial pain that arises in everyday life so that they can enjoy the other good things. And hopefully we'll be able to do that step by step.
إن شاء الله. طبعاً يعني delighting customers is a pursuit for everyone, but definitely new banks need to be profitable. اليوم we hear يعني amazing stories from across the world. Revolut is now valued over 50 billion and Monzo, and there are other plays globally that have proven successful. How do you see يعني a lot of criticism comes towards the wallet as a business model versus the bank. يعني how do you see profitability or viability of such a business?
Playing in the wallet sphere is quite competitive. I don't think scale is the answer to wallet profitability. I believe creating your own niche and being as nimble as possible as the organization and trying to complement other competitors in the market is key for livelihood of a lot of the players in the ground. However, when you're a full-fledged digital bank, the opportunities of profit generation are many. The pillars of banking are creating a deposit base and obviously off lending in various degrees of lending. And focusing on fee generation either through investment aggregation or add-on services is key. MashaAllah, Saudi Arabia is a thriving economy and the opportunities of growth and employment are immense in line with Vision 2030. The opportunities are a lot. So graduates are finding a lot of ways to make a living, either as entrepreneurs or underemployment. And therefore, as a bank, as a digital bank, with such a large customer base that we do have, and the network effect that we do have in terms of the loyalty of our customer base, there are many ways and avenues to elevate it. But it's a long journey. I mean, the names that you mentioned, on average, take plus 5 years to reach profitability. We have other aspirations, but at the end of the day, yes, it's a profitable organization, and there's these challenges that we have to face in the market.
Inshallah, good luck with that. I want to also talk about competition and how do you see the market? Do you think many players will transition, will go into the wallet business? How do you see competition with other players who applied for the digital banking license as well?
I think the market is transforming into various strategies. You have telcos who've entered into wallet operations. You have incumbent banks who've started their own wallets as well. And you have the flurry of entrepreneurs who are either a different business model and are reverting back to wallet for growth. The competition is fierce in the wallet business and the fintech business. However, for us, we will be focusing on creating our own path, our own customer base. We definitely are not planning to compete with the incumbent banks merely because our path is a little bit different. At the end of the journey, I think banks will converge more into digital banking and redesign their operating models while we progress in this uncharted territory. Digital banks are fairly new in the world. Very few of them are successful who found the right strategy for them. We at Saudi Arabia here have a very good foundation for many successful digital banks going forward.
Inshallah, بإذن الله. Nizar, maybe we have among the guests here, or even across all the halls, a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs and fintechs that are trying to innovate and bring in disruptive product solving problems. How does STC Bank look at the greater ecosystem of fintechs? Should they be afraid of a player well-funded like STC, or is it more going towards collaboration?
Well, us being the original fintech and the pioneer in this field who paved the way for success, our strategy is full enablement of fintechs. We are not going to be reinventing the wheel and try to compete with everybody at everything. We are honing and fine-tuning banking and financial services. Everything around it will definitely be through collaboration, either as banking as a service, either as collaboration. In some instances where there are opportunities there where we feel that more integration in terms of equity is necessary, then that would be a path. But we need to support and nurture these fintechs, because if you have a team that is focused on a service in particular, you will find excellence in what they do. And therefore, opening up the platform and the network that STC Bank has today for these individual fintechs and entrepreneur teams elevates their proposition to be much more successful and profitable. So no, we were talking about this just yesterday, because we saw the section where a lot of the entrepreneurs are huddled up in these desks. Our passion is to be walking through that and attracting as many of them as necessary to enable them to be part of STC Bank one way or another. The biggest issue with any fintech and startup is acquisition of customers and getting to the market, and that is quite expensive. And we will play our role in fintech enablement and development, inshallah.
So we should direct them to speak with you and your team, inshallah.
We're open for business. Anybody would love to, we're at the back end of the hall.
يعطيكم العافية. And maybe just to wrap up, what would be a message you want to send, whether it's for aspiring entrepreneurs, regulators with us in the room, and maybe young talent who would aspire to join you and your team?
Definitely. Since you mentioned regulators, one of our strategic objectives is to work as closely as possible so that we take these experiences we have internally and work on how to develop this new path. I mean, there has been very well-structured, articulated paths for fintechs and highly supported. And for us soon to be entering into the banking realm, definitely we need all of the support that we can. And in terms of the fintech players out there, keep dreaming, keep aspiring. It is tough coming from a non-entrepreneur, non-startup mentality, but highly interested and highly excited about what is available out there. And I think with the vision of Saudi Arabia, with the huge support from the regulators, either central bank, CMA, and others around us, I see all of the ways that development will be successful. Not all are winners, but at the end of the day, if you fail, try again. And this is what the young, vibrant Saudi population is aiming for. Inshallah, we'll all get it together, inshallah.
Thank you. Shukran, Nizar, and hopefully, inshallah, we can get to see many more unicorn fintechs in Saudi.
Absolutely, we're hoping for it, Jamia.
Thank you very much.